What is up, my horror peeps? This is AJ Horror Reviewer, here to bring you a new movie review. And since we're in mid-March, it's that time of the month for St. Patrick's Day. I figured I'd bring you a couple more St. Patrick's type movies. And you guessed it, I'm doing Leprechaun 2 and 3. Um, so I'm gonna do it differently this time. I'm not gonna go through the cast or anything like that. I'm just gonna jump right into it, and I'm gonna give you some fun little things that I noticed that are kind of like tropes. And then at the end, I'll give you an announcement of a new movie that I'm going to review. It's going to be a very new one, and hopefully you'll check that one out. But without further ado, I'm going to go through two movies. So I'm just going to come out and just say it. I don't usually criticize movies too much, but the acting in these movies were a little to be desired. So Leprechaun 2 is from 1994. It got a 5%, I think, on Rotten Tomatoes. So these ones are gradually going down in the quality. But, it's fun. These are fun movies. They're not meant to be taken seriously, obviously. It's a freaking leprechaun. I will say, if Warwick Davis was not in these films, I probably would not have watched all the way through. So let's just go for the second one. Basically, this starts out like in Ireland, like 1,000 years in the past, and the leprechaun is celebrating his 1,000th birthday, and he wants to take a bride. So he takes this Irish guy captive, and he says, "Oh, I'm gonna take a bride," and so the Irish guy's like, "Okay, yeah, I just want my freedom." And what ends up happening is Warwick Davis, Leprechaun, wants to take his daughter, and somehow I can't remember how he stopped that from happening, but he did, and then the Leprechaun killed him. And then I like the credits for this one because it shows the family lineage, like it shows the kind of like family tree, like going forward through the credits, like because the leprechauns basically wants this specific bloodline because he wants to take his revenge or whatever. So basically it throws it back. You go forward in time to common day at that time in the 90s. You can tell it's the 90s for sure. Anyways, so he's basically looking for the bloodline, this girl. And man, I was having a hard time sticking with this one. I fast forward a few parts just because I was like, okay, this doesn't have any relevance to the plot or anything. It just feels like a time filler a little bit. But I will say that it's fun. It's fun. There's some good kills in this. Basically, the whole plot of it is the leprechaun trying to find the bloodline of the specific from the beginning and take her as his bride. And in this one, he has a lair, which is interesting, as like his magical lair or his home. Which again, another thing is they don't connect this to the first one at all. Like there's like zero connection. So you really could watch these movies standalone. So that's I don't know if that's good or bad. I prefer a little continuity, but what are you gonna do? Anyhow, sorry, I'm getting a little parched. I've been trying more non-alcoholic drinks lately because it's been messing with my stomach. This one is a pineapple margarita. Actually tastes really good. A little more sugar than I'd like, but anyways, let's get back into this. So he uses his magic to get to the girl that he's going to marry. A really interesting kill scene in the garage is where the Leprechaun makes this dumb guy who's like trying to uh, get in the lead girl's pants, and he's lured into the garage, and the Leprechaun uses his magic to falsely show her image, and get the guy to come in, and like as he's trying to like about to make out with her, the image of her is actually I wasn't really sure what it was actually. It was like these blades. I wasn't sure if it was like a industrial like sized lawnmower or what it was, but there was these blades and just chops his face up. I thought that was a cool creative kill. And of course, Warwick Davis, Leprechaun, it just has his banter, his rhymes, his Irish rhymes, that he has with every single kill, or pretty much anything he says is either me gold or a rhyme of some sort. Which, I mean, that's just classic. I kind of appreciate that. Anyways, so eventually he gets her, the bloodline chick, to his lair, and the other protagonist, the boyfriend of her, is trying to get her back, but he has one of the Leprechaun's shillings, so the Leprechaun is looking for him. And there's a great scene for me. I think this scene is awesome. Is they're in a bar, and the boyfriend's like uncle, is his uncle, or I think it's his uncle, is basically doing a alcohol, see who can drink the most, and the uncle tricks the Leprechaun because he's drinking just like, there's not alcohol. It looks like special red rye or whatever. And so the Leprechaun's just like chugging fists of Irish whiskey until he's just plastered. And then it doesn't work. Like what they were trying to do, it didn't work because Leprechaun gets away. So, I mean, it's just kind of a pointless scene, but it's probably one of the funnier scenes in this. And then the Leprechaun's at a cafe, just hungover as hell, like drinking like 20 cups of coffee. Which I thought, I don't know, there's some clever, like, cool little things about this. But overall, the story's kind of like, I mean, it's cool, but not, I mean, it's not, I wouldn't put it on my scale of really, really good movies, but it's entertaining. Anyways, so basically, somehow the boyfriend gets to the lair, and I'm trying to remember how they stopped him in this one, because there's a different method of how they trick the Leprechaun. This one, I believe, what is this one? I want to say he puts something in his mouth and he like melts or something. I'm trying to remember what it was. I know he stabs him in the face with iron. I mean, it's not super important. It's just, that there's a different method of how they kill him in each one. And, they get away. The uncle ends up swallowing or having all the gold in his stomach from a wish that he made because he had the gold shilling. And then, yeah, he ends up dying because it's all in his stomach, and the Leprechaun cuts it out of him. But that's about it for that second one there. Now let's go to the 1995 Leprechaun 3. This one is in Las Vegas, which I like that idea. I think it's kind of cool. They keep going to different spots. In this one, he is it's kind of not, there's not a lot of super great plot to it. Basically the Leprechaun is like frozen with this amulet, which I didn't really get, because I thought in the end of this they would have used the amulet to freeze him again into whatever carbonite or whatever, this is in Star Wars, but that's the same thing as what it appears. He's stone, I guess, but it looks a little different. Anyways, I'm rambling, sorry. So basically, this starts off with this like homeless kind of looking guy bringing the statue with the amulet on it of the leprechaun into the store and the pawn shop or whatever, you know, in Las Vegas. There's a ton of those, and so the shopkeeper buys it for like $20. I'm like, what the heck? I thought he would have given a lot more money than that, but regardless, he takes it. The homeless guy goes away, and he takes the amulet off, like the guy said not to do, of course. And I mean, it seems like a horror trope of people being stupid, and that unleashes fear and chaos and death. So the leprechaun appears, and you know his usual antics. He messes with the merchant. He hurts him a lot. He bites his ear and his toe. He bites his toe off. I feel like the leprechaun has like some like fetish about biting digits off. He in the first or in the second one he bites someone's finger off to get gold. In this one he bites the guy's ear and he bites his toe off. So yeah, that's a little bit of a trope that I'm seeing for the leprechaun, at least specifically, not just a horror trope, but so basically the merchant gets a piece of gold that the leprechaun always seems to drop a piece of gold, a shilling of gold in these movies, and so Leprechaun comes back and eventually he kills the merchant, and our protagonist, who it doesn't really matter too much about him, he has lost a lot of money. He's selling his grandfather's watch. He's not even old enough to gamble. He goes in there, finds a dead body. He's like, oh, that's not good. And then calls the cops, and he finds the gold shilling. He takes it. And then he's like, oh, man, I wish I could be back in whatever hotel, the Lucky whatever. And poof, he's back on the table that he was at. And he just starts winning and winning and winning. And the girl that he met earlier that helped fix her car, that let him into the casino because he's underage, is telling him, oh, you need to just go to this hotel room that somebody like just gave him because he was winning so much. And basically what ends up happening is the coin goes from person to person. The leprechaun basically attacks all these people. An interesting thing that they brought into this one, though, was the leprechaun bit the main protagonist in that hotel room where he had the coin that got stolen. The leprechaun keeps coming too late to the people that had the coin. Regardless, anyways, he bites the protagonist, and the protagonist starts turning into a leprechaun. It's kind of silly, but it's kind of cool at the same time. But I will another big thing in these leprechaun movies, at least from two and three, the ones that I've watched so far. The first one not so much, but there's a lot of nudity, and it's weird because the leprechaun is always the one bringing the nudity. It's like they're in a trance basically, and that's when the leprechaun's like killing them. So he uses a little sexual deviance in a way, which is interesting. I don't know if that's a leprechaun thing or not. I feel like these ones don't necessarily go by any specific lore. Maybe seems like it's different in every movie. Another interesting. This isn't even just the leprechaun, but it's like movies, horror movies in general, or just like a lot of movies. There's a scene where this guy's in the morgue. The morgue worker is eating. I'm like, I feel like in almost every like movie that has a morgue in it, the mortician or whatever is eating something, like every single time. Like bring me a movie that they are not, and I will be very, very surprised, honestly. So basically, I'm rambling on. If you're still with me right now, thank you. Let's keep going here. So basically the coin goes from person to person to person, and the very last scene, I mean, there's not a whole lot of, I mean, you probably know what happens in every Leprechaun movie, it seems like. The Leprechaun is trying to fool the protagonist into giving him his gold back because he found his gold in this safe in the pawn shop place, and I don't, maybe I missed something, but I doubt it. So the Leprechaun's trying to say, oh, let's share the gold. We can share it. We're brothers. Or, you know, he's trying to be very obviously lying, as he usually always is. And the girl, who's the protagonist's friend, says, no, he's lying to you. Get rid of the gold. So he burns the gold, and so the Leprechaun ends up burning too. And that's basically the end. And I don't know. I wasn't a huge fan of this one. The first one I really liked. I don't know. Second and third one, I mean, it's fun. Warwick Davis makes these movies. Like, if you didn't have him, you'd be in trouble. But yeah, that's what I've got for this. Hit that subscribe button if you're still there. I very much appreciate you too, if you are. And get ready for my next film. It's gonna be a good one. I'm excited for it, and I haven't even seen it yet. So stay tuned and have a good one.